Together with my colleague Renata Zamida from Slovenian Book Agency, I would like to welcome our guest publisher, successfully engaged in promoting European translation literature. And last but not least, we have here Gabriela Babnik, one of the most translated Slovenian authors and winning author of the European Union Literature Award from 2013. And I would also like to thank our colleagues from our fellow Creative Europe desk from Macedonia, Bulgaria, Croatia and Hungary. 3 of them are today with us. So if you have any wishes to connect with publishers in those 3 countries or are searching for partners, books, please use them and approach them later after the event. The choice of our guests, our panelists, is not random. They are coming from the countries that are the most successful in winning EU grants for literary translation, as this table shows, within Creative Europe program. So out of 171 supported translation projects in total, in the period of 3 years from 2014 to 2016, as much as 77 go to the 5 countries here present. So it represents as much as 45% of all the co-financing available in the program. So indeed, they are the most successful. Just to shortly introduce the EU support mechanism, although I think we all know it, so the Creative Europe offers 2 mechanisms to stimulate translation of European literature. The first one is co-financing translation of European authors to European publishing houses. Through translated works, it promotes translators and supports diverse offer of literary production in European markets. And the scheme is especially in favor of supporting translation from lesser used languages into big languages, because such translation may contribute to a wider circulation of the works, reaching more readers beyond borders. But the results show the opposite. The huge majority of titles are books written in big languages and translated into small languages, meaning for the readers in the peripheries. And the second instrument within Creative Europe is the so-called European Union Prize for Literature. This prize is meant for emerging European authors. It was set up in 2009 and is managed by a consortium of European Federation of Booksellers, Writers and Publishers. And each year, a dozen of eligible countries are selected on a rotation basis, and national juries make the selection of authors' works from their countries. So that's the system. So finally, my first question to all the guests would be, what do you think is the secret of your success, of the success of your countries in Creative Europe in this translation scheme? And actually, more concretely, what is the motivation of your publishing house to participate in the program? So what is the context your publishing house operates with so that you are motivated to enter into these schemes? Okay?
Well, publishing house Goga, about our motivation, it's really simple. We want as much funds as we can get, of course, for our publishing business, but it's a little bit different for publishing Slovenian authors and of course authors from other countries. It's a little bit bizarre because we can get more money for other writers, for writers from other countries, but on one point we decided that we will use as much money that we get from Slovenian government to publish Slovenian writers. So it was then a natural way to find additional money for other writers. you have other kinds of support for foreign writers, but this is also a system when you can get money for maybe countries that they don't support their writers so much. Okay.
I can say about the motivation of Mladinska knjiga that part of it is more or less the same as was previously mentioned by a colleague. So in this changing publishing landscape, you need as many money for publishing book as you can get, so you are searching around how to find this money, and this initiative is one you really came about quite naturally. So this is one of the reasons. The other reason would be that the money we get from the European Union gives you a chance to promote these books better, so meaning you don't just publish these books, but also you can promote them, invite the authors. Let's say this year we have 4 visits of the foreign authors. 3 of them came to this book fair, which is happening at the moment. So this is also one thing which is okay. Although this initiative first started with just grants for the translation, now in the last 2 years the special money is reserved for the promotion as well. And one other aspect which is not unimportant, at least for us editors, I don't know about the heads of the publishing companies, but for the editors, we would like to work with always with the best possible translators from the certain language, and with money you get from EU, you can decently pay them. So they received a higher pay for their work, although since this initiative is changing in details all the time. It's a fluid thing, and one of the things which I cannot really understand is that 2 years ago they removed this required pay for the translator. For each country there was a certain amount you had to pay. Now you're not obliged to. You can pay as you like, which I don't find it really good. So,
well, we are a small publishing house, publishing 30 to 40 titles per year, and from the beginning, that's 13 years ago, we were trying to get grants for translations, because we are trying to translate good books for young adults mainly. And so with European money we can do that for more books at one time, though I find the paperwork too demanding, and now grants for other countries are much easier to get. I don't know the secret. Well, we don't have a secret to receive. We applied 3 times and were awarded 2 times with a grant, EU grant. Well, once we were refused for very funny reasons, we think. Well, I agree with Andrei about paying translators. That's a very good thing that with those funds we can pay them well, and also for promotion. We applied last year for 6 titles, and Slovene Book Agency give us grant for 7 titles. So, well, we have to produce about 20 titles without grants, and it's a problem for a small publishing house having 4 employees that one have to do all that paperwork and following all those grants, and I think those translation grants are meant mostly for big publishing houses or for small ones that publish only that number of books that are supported, or some more, but not 20 more. So it's very difficult for such publishing houses as ours to be engaged in European translation fund. So in future, perhaps we will go towards separate countries again.
When I first read the outline of the program, I thought this program is meant for my publishing house, because ICU is focused on books that are about migration, about multicultural issues, and the things that are supported by the program seemed very appropriate for us. So we were motivated to do books that are available on these topics, and we wanted to fill a niche in Bulgarian market, because we think this is something that Bulgarian readers lack. They need more of these books to be aware of these problems that are rising and being very painful. So this was the first motivation. Then I agree with my colleagues that the programs give you the opportunity to give fair pay for the translators. And the thing about authors is really important, that you can invite authors at book fairs. In Sofia we've invited our authors, and the visibility of the books is much greater that way. So on another note, we try to look on this program as a long-term thing, not just publish one project then another one. We started with a project with 3 books, then we continued with 5 books, and we built on the first project with deepening and expanding languages and themes, and looking at these problems from different point of view. And this is very important, that the program gives you the opportunity to do this. The problem was the third time when we had a project of 8 books, and we thought this project was really nice written and well maintained and balanced, but it was rejected. So now we are going back to point 1, and I don't know how we're going to continue.
In this regard, I also can see that we don't feel very successful this year. Also, our project was rejected from strange reasons, because last year we had a similar project our projects tend to have a similar note in it, and a similar type of writers included in it. So the topics that we usually use is the diversity of Europe, and we tend to make a journey for the readers through the European Union, through the continent. What motivates us, besides the money and the help that we support, that we get, it's maybe the audience development, because the Macedonian market is really small and really commercialized in a way that most of the publishing houses tend to publish titles that are based on the commercial success, and only a few of them are working towards the development of a better audience. So what we like about this new project is that everyone involved in the project is supposed to have a good promotion and a good communication of the content of the books published, because in the previous years we saw a tendency that many of the applicants didn't have enough experience to even apply for a project, and they received a grant. So they kind of it was a way of life for them, which cannot be justified, and it's maybe one of the problems that we are facing in Macedonia is that, and it's a problem I think with the project, that not every publishing house is evenly treated, maybe. it shouldn't be even. It should be. They should look into the portfolio, into the number of employees, maybe number of book published in the previous years, and maybe rank it differently when review the applications. But basically, the good thing about the project is that in Macedonia it creates a positive trend in the audience, and it develops.
Our publisher were 100% scientific non-fiction publishing house in Hungary since 1989, and we concerned to become known in the literary scene in Hungary after we just found this application in 2011, and so we just published already more than 45 titles with this EU program. Yeah, and it's also true in Hungary that market is really small, and it's really hard to find our readership and to promote well the books, and yeah, but this kind of program is a bit like publishing innovation support, or I don't know. So we are developing in marketing strategy, and we also make it better in our non-fiction books. So it's a really great chance to develop this part of our work. So yeah.
Hello everybody, it's nice to be again in Ljubljana for the book fair. So the question is, why is this support important? I think it is important with various reasons, but one of the most, it is how to publish in the different language quality literature, which is always in all countries, especially in the small countries, such as all our countries, are somewhere put it beside or in the bookstores, and that are not promoted so good. So I think that is the main aim of that, why we are also try to get funding from European Union. Our publishing house, we get it for 6 or 7 times during past almost 9 years, I think. So we were twice, we only didn't get it twice. And it gives us also opportunity, as Andre said, to give a fair pay for the translators, to also we always invite authors for visit. So in this new project for Creative Europe 2014-2020, it gave us opportunity also to include that cost of promotional cost in the project. On the other hand, and it also gave us opportunity to go in some projects of some books that otherwise wouldn't be translated in Croatian, especially when we talk about really huge books like Petar Nadaš or Olga Tokarczuk, Knjige Jakubovi that we just get. So it is those books are 800, 1,000 pages, so it is very hard to finance with your own money. And when you talk in the beginning, and I was really thinking about it, how it's happened that smaller countries, smaller languages get more success for that. It is I think that is the problem because of our markets. Our markets are too small, and market of the grants, which is also market, we must be serious about that. For us, it's really important, and from all our countries, we try to get those money. And when you think about the big publishing houses in Germany, France, UK, Spain, Italy, they can, when you sell 5,000 books, you will always get your money, your invest money back. But if you publish if your average print run is 1,000 or even smaller, you cannot go to the project as a publisher for the books that you don't have grant. So that is with the translation. So then you have like cost of translation is like 30%, and that is something that will kill you if you go without grant. So that is I think the reason why all publishing houses from those smaller countries, if you put behind us, so I think Serbia, Slovakia, maybe, so you will have 75% of something like that. So I think that is the reason. And then when you think about also small languages, I don't like that. Lesser used language, so the same. But when you think about Scandinavian, so Finnish, Danish, Norwegian, so they also can sell 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 copies. So that is for us impossible. When you think about that, the one Finnish author, Sophie Oksanen, which is really great author, in Finland itself, she sold very high quality literature in at least 200,000 copies. So that is science fiction for all of us. So I think that is the reason why we are more. We need to grab that grants, and we are more serious in thinking about grants, how we will fill it, and so on. On other markets, they are more up to market how to sell the books.
I will connect to say it and then wrap up this first round. Yes, there is what we can see in the last couple of years is although that also big countries and big publishing houses are starting to apply for this European grant. So the concurrence is getting bigger and bigger each year, and that's why some of the publishers who always got the grant or most of the times got the grant now are starting to also lose the grants, because you can really see their German publishing houses, even publishing houses from England, from the UK, many Italian, so also from bigger languages, they are starting to apply for this grant. And Said gave this example now for Sophie Oksanen, who really sold a lot. But for instance, I spoke with the publisher of C'est Notabond in the UK a couple of weeks ago, and I was stunned to hear that C'est Notabond, who is a quality literature author but also a very known name, doesn't sell more than an average of 1,000 copies in the UK. And this is also a reason why a lot of UK publishing houses, especially the smaller ones, are starting to apply for this grant too. And there's another shift you can see when you look at the applicants. And we have a fine example here from Hungary, Typotex. So a lot of publishing houses who used not to publish literary fiction at all, who were publishing houses for non-fiction books or for other types of books, are starting to apply to the EU funds and starting to make a literary backlist just to start to apply. So this is also one reason why there are more and more applicants each year, and the money more or less stays the same. This is something we also discussed with Said a couple of weeks ago. We have 2 million euro on the EU literature on the EU literature translation funds. If you divide this to all countries which are eligible, and these are more than 34, so more than EU member states, If you divide this, you come to a roughly 50 or 60,000 euro per country. This is a really small amount. And I think from this point of view, also the national grants given to the publishers, especially in the small countries where we all come from, are very important. So the next question will be more or less for our foreign guests, since I will tell you now what the Slovenian Book Agency, which is the national agency for funding in the book field, gives away for projects and programs of the national publishing houses here in Slovenia, which is an average of 800,000 euro per year for various book projects. So also translations, sometimes a bit less, but sometimes it comes almost up to a million euros. So my question is, in your countries, what is the national funding that helps you? Because also the EU funding is only financing up to 50% of the projects. And if you have in your countries special financing schemes for publishers who are successful at the EU level. So if you get an EU grant, do you have special funding that would co-finance this project of the EU grant? Because we also have it in Slovenia via the Ministry of Culture, but also via the book agency. It is not a large amount, so it can't fill up the other 50%. It's a very small amount, but nevertheless, we, I think, are all very interested in how it works in your countries.
Thank you, Renata. So in Croatia you have various funds of grants. Every grant is given by a Ministry of Culture. We don't have book agency, unfortunately, which is, I think, a problem on a different level. And I do hope that with the new minister, Nina Obuljen, that we will have starting working on book agency, which is, I think, the only proper way how can we do it. The average amount, it is 700,000 to 1 million. It's really depend on year to year. When you think about it, that Croatia is 2 times bigger than Slovenia, then that means that we also have not enough money for that. On the one hand, and on the other hand, you have really small, also in the last years, it is also really small amount of the money for successful projects, which if you apply, you get automatically some kind of money which covers 5 to 10% of the costs of the books of the project. So that means that you need still to find 40% at least. So when you think about that, so it is always very interesting. In Croatia, we always said that the whole Croatian book market, which means libraries, publishers, literature magazines, festivals, fairs, everything, getting less money from ministry than Croatian National Theatre.
In Hungary, we do not apply at any kind of fund for literary titles. We have the National Culture Fund, and there we are applying with non-fiction titles only, and we about 15 titles, and we receive about 20,000 euros to realize these 15 titles. And we have the Hungarian Academy of Science, and there are also just non-fiction titles. So we, and of course we do not publish Hungarian literature so just foreign literature. That's why we do not publish them, and we are applying many kind of foreign literature grants from Denmark to Germany, the French Institute, and the Bulgarian Culture Institute, and everything what we just find. So yes, and to translate Hungarian literature, we have a grant by the Petőfi Literary Museum, but I don't know how much money they give to the foreign publishers. And also there's a translation fellowship program for foreign translators to translate Hungarian fiction.
The situation in Macedonia is, I think, very similar as Croatia. I don't know the exact figure that the Ministry of Culture is giving to the publishers. It's called an annual program that supports the projects that are from national interest. And from national interest, it's usually the local authors. Our publishing house also applies with every year we apply with Macedonian authors, but also with we suggest some translations, but they usually don't go through. They support some maybe non-fiction books. We in our ministry there was a strategy for development, and also one of the things that they envisioned is the book agency. But this is something that is still, I think, in the it's like a project, and it's about to be established. Also, we have a grant support project for program for other countries, which is allocating some, I think, some sums from 1,000 to 2,000 euros per project for foreign publishers if they wish to translate some Macedonian authors. So a little by little we keep with the countries in the regions. So we try to export the Macedonian literature.
I think in Bulgaria we have two major programs. One is with the Ministry of Culture, and the other one is with a brand new fund for National Fund for Book. It is functioning for 2 years, but they are not meant to support translations into Bulgarian. They are meant to support translation of local authors. So we've never applied there. We try to spend a little part of the budget from the EU, from our successful project, to translate, to do a catalog like this, where we translated excerpts from our Bulgarian authors, because we are interested to at least to show them abroad. We never applied for the fund with the Ministry of Culture. There are also regional programs, which are like municipality programs, Sofia municipality or Burgas municipality, but they support really their native authors. So we get one grant for one of our Burgas author, Kirana Angelova. We don't have any funds to help you with this 50% that we are lacking. And that's why we count on bank credit, which is not very good for us.
So I stress that these countries are very successful, but nevertheless, in the last round in 2016, for all our countries, the success rate went down. So actually, for Slovenia, we always had 3, 5, even 8 projects, and this time only one publishing house succeeded, Cankari Vazalozba. And actually even the number of applications dropped down a little bit. So we are now questioning ourselves whether the motivation is changing or the problems is on the other side. So of course Mr. Serdarevic pointed out that the small market is a very good motivation for publishers from these countries, but the European Commission, the program itself, they want that literature translation would be done into big languages in order to access bigger markets. So what will you do? Are you working on translating your own national authors and try to bring them in a foreign market, or how will all the support will just get lower and lower in the forthcoming years? So are you aware of the fact that actually the EU scenario is changing, so that actually the Commission is really cutting the support for translations from, let's say, big languages or mostly English into small languages? And what will you do with it? You will just, forget about this mechanism and try to, as it was already mentioned, try to use maybe national support mechanisms, bilateral, or, maybe Andrei or...
This is quite a complex question. It raises many points. The two most widely used words today, and usually when we talk about this initiative, is less and lower. We already heard that we are talking here about the amount which is ridiculously small, given the fact that this initiative, if you don't go into the details, is quite successful, and it enabled many translations of really good, demanding books, high literature, into different European languages, which will never happen in many cases. I also wanted to clarify for those of you who are not so at the moment into this initiative that they use this phrase, lesser used languages, and yes, lesser used languages are all the languages except English, German, French, and Spanish. Italian is also lesser used language, although Italy has 60 million people. So the signals which are sent by European Commission are quite conflicting, and this is one of the one you mentioned is also quite conflict. It's quite maybe unclear at the moment, because when they had this presentation just recently in Frankfurt, they weren't speaking about this at all. So for our publishing house, I can say that until now we only use the grant for translation from foreign languages into Slovenian, and we at the moment tend to stay with this practice, although I would like to say to those of you, to colleagues who were not successful maybe last time or on the previous calls, that lots of this, although these appliances, these papers you have to fill in are quite extensive, you have to fill in many numbers and budgets and all of that, but at the end, lots of, at least a bit of this final decision is subjective. It depends who reads your application sometimes. So if you are unlucky to have somebody who will find something or tries to find something, then you are maybe unjustifiably left out. So and you just have to apply again next year, because then you will have maybe a different reviewer next time, and you will be successful. So that's also something which has to be kept in mind. Let's say if I just finish this talk of mine with our example. Mladinska knjiga first applied for this grant in 2005, I think, and we were unsuccessful, which made us really furious, and we never applied for the next 5 years, I think. It's stupid, of course. And then we applied again in 2011, and we were successful ever since. So in the last 6 or 7 years, since we have a daughter company, which was already mentioned, Cankareva Založba, we sometimes apply, we sometimes compare readers' reports which we get from the readers, and they illustrate the argument which I mentioned before. So it's part of this is also subjective. So there are many different points in my answer as well. Thank you.
Well, I wanted to add to another question about the English, the major languages. We were very surprised to find that the things were changed, the conditions were changed, but they were not described in the guidelines. Because our first project was with 3 British novels, and it was okay, it was successful. Now we have 8 books, as I mentioned. 4 of them are English, but of these 4, one is Irish, and another one is Libyan. The author is Libyan by origin, and he writes in English as many other writers, Nigerians and South Africans, and how many others. So actually the book was, the project was with 2 books from Cyprus, one from Slovenia, one from Finland, one from Ireland, one from Libya, and 2 from Britain. So they say this is not balanced. I don't see why it is not balanced. These books are evenly dispersed. On another note, there were three books with short stories and 5 novels. And they say, yes, you have lesser represented genres, another very interesting term, but they are not evenly, they are not balanced. And one sentence which is very interesting for me was the project is relevant, but the target language is Bulgarian, which is a lesser used language. Okay, I'm a Bulgarian publisher, and I think it's normal that I apply for books in Bulgarian. So that's a paradox.
From your question, we can see that unfortunately that Creative Europe program is changing from year to year. That is making a lot of problems, not only for publisher, but I think also for other creative and cultural industries. The problem is that Europe itself, with Creative Europe, I think does not know what to do exactly, because you change major language, lesser used language, everything is mixed up. So this year in the guidelines you have, for example, lesser represented genres, as you say, and that is so. Graphic novels, poetry, short stories, novels. So we see that there is too many novels translated. Of course, because if you are novels are the major in the book branch, and if you want to have consistent project, you cannot put all together poetry, short stories, novels, graphic novels, to children books, whatever. So that is the problem. That is I think that we have problems from upper level, not from bottom up, from upper level. What exactly European Union with Creative Europe want? What we want our languages. It's all languages, so formally in the European Union, all languages are same, which is not true in effect. And we see it as a problem, and what is European plus? It's culture, on the one hand, and then with the Creative Europe program, especially with the literature, which is base of every culture industries, of everything, it's the ground thing is book. So when you start thinking about a film, you have writing. When you think about theater, you have writing, and so on and so on. I don't want to explain on the larger scale. And then you have for the books only 3 million euros. When you compare how many money is getting into the film industry, that is something different. You have only for the festivals more than for the book translation. So, and then to make circulation of the languages, circulation of those things, that is always those big words. And then when you put it in the fact, you have totally different aim. And that is something that also that we as a publisher, as I don't know, National Ministry of Cultures, National Book Agency, and so on, we need to lobby at Brussels for that. So 3 million euros at what we said, it's ridiculous money for book translation for in amount of the euro. If you think that let's say standard needs to be one new book at 1,000 inhabitants. So how many books we need to publish in the euro? Lot. And when you think how many is supported with that project, it's really, really less. So that is something which is, when you compare it, it is really, really very, very problematic. And then you have also this year, what I saw it, so I don't have nothing against it, but on the other hand, you have this year on the project that Dalkey Archive made a sister company in Ireland. Dalkey Archive is a US publisher, makes sister company in Ireland, and apply for a European grant, which is okay, perfect. But it is, you know, how to avoid. I have nothing against, and then when you think about translation of the into English, which is that big language, you know how one publisher is called in US? 3%. Why? Because this is the how many books are translated into English. So there is a lot of problems with that project. So we are very happy that we get money from that project, of course. But I think when we think about what Anders say, subjective evaluators. So one thing. The second thing, all time changing of the projects. The third thing. So we can start to talk about that. You prize winners as well. So which is on one hand great idea, but what does it really mean? Is the prize in all country it could be one of something, but when you think is you prize winner better than concours winner, what does it mean? So there is a lot of problems when we think about and how it's developed. And I must admit that I'm not quite happy how it's developed. So we see it from the political view, and this is political problem. This is not a problem of culture, of course. From political view, we have Lacos paper, culture, and we see here problems which is reflect on the political level later on.
We can see there are a lot of things that are making the publishers furious about this program as much as they need and want it, of course. And now you already mentioned another thing that we want to tackle next, which is the EUPL, so the European Union Literary Prize. Before we come to that, I just want to comment on some of your comments. Yes, of course, there is this subjectivity of the evaluator, but not only one, there are always two evaluators reading your applications, and to make it worse, then they have to make a consensus out of their individual evaluations, and this is where this funny end texts come from, which you read as your evaluations, which of course is problematic. But another thing is also that the evaluators get guidelines on how to evaluate. Every year they get fresh guidelines, and the guidelines are stricter and stricter each year also for the evaluators, because there are so much more applicants. So if 5 years ago it was normal and natural for an evaluator that he didn't find something in the application, he just looked it up on the internet, he checked out the publishing house, he got additional information on it. But now the evaluators have strict guidelines not to look at anything outside the applications. So anything you don't write down in the application directly is as it doesn't exist. And these are also some things that some publishers who apply for many years, of course, now don't know, and they, take some things for granted. But the evaluators mustn't take anything for granted anymore. So also this is getting stricter and stricter, and this may be good information for you to consider.
Internal documents about every publishing house, right?
No internal documents on publishing house. No. No. The only thing you get is the individual evaluations, and you evaluate every one. Yes. So you have to really be careful on how to use this 2,000 characters per answer. And but okay, now to get to the EUPL. This is a prize which was introduced by the European Union to promote even more the various quality literary fiction titles in various European countries. We won't get into the details now on how the EUPL winners of the specific countries are chosen in these countries. We will not get into that because it wouldn't make any sense, because every country has a different system to choose these winners, and there has been a lot of discussions on how objective these systems are. But nevertheless, we do have the EUPL winners, and so far we already have 83 of them, right, Matea? And these are the titles which get additional points in the applications. So the applicants are in a way being almost forced. Yes, you used a nice word. They're encouraged. Actually, they're being forced from year to year more intensively to pick EUPL titles in order to make their application successful. This is, of course, for a winning author, a very good thing, because the novel really gets translated. It does its rounds. We have to admit it. And we are also welcoming today Gabriela Bartnik, who is one of the winners of this prize, and she will now shortly comment also on this. But I would firstly maybe want to hear from you, publishers, on what do you think on this additional points for these titles. Do you feel it has an impact on your editorial decisions if you want to get the grant? And yes, how do you feel about it? Because the opinions are very, very various in this. Okay.
This is controversial, really. I can say that Mladinska knjiga, until now, we never applied with any of the European prize award winners until now. And it kind of, I don't know, at the end we always went through without these additional points. the fact is that this number of these points is changing all the time. At the moment, it stands on 15 points. It's that means if you do not include any of the European award winners, you don't get 15 points. So you start instead of 100 points with 85 points, and it's not very likely that you will get through, even if your application is perfect. The problem of this prize starts with the name. It's called European Literature Prize, whereas in reality there are European literature prizes, because there are 12 prizes given every year. That reminds me of some practices in the former Yugoslavia, when all the republics had to be satisfied at the same time. Well, I'm a bit cynical here. I would just like to say that I'm sure that most of the winners are deserved winners. So I will not like to problematize this, and I also understand the aim of the European Union. Since they have this award, they would like to promote it as heavily as possible and use all the existing channels, and this is this is the convenient channel for them to force publishers to publish these books. But this also adds to some problems which were mentioned by Seyit, and it's again, as I said, controversial and contradictory thing, because these are in effect national awards, which are then given approval by European Union. So it's really problematic, and as the EU Translation Grant Initiative is undefined, this prize and the whole process is even more undefined. And the developments are not adding to this thing being more clarified. On the contrary, it's getting more and more muddy. Thanks.
I will first just mention something from previous question about these translations to bigger languages, or to more often used languages. Well, we solved this problem with partial translations of Slovenian authors that we then use for promoting them to foreign publishers, and everything was fine with letters. But about this prize, I can tell you this year you had to have more than 82 points. That was the limit. So, for example, our publishing house, we were also unsuccessful this year, but we would go through if we would add 2 additional prize winners. So, but then it's like we applied with 5 books, so it's 3 books from EU and it's our decision. So then you question yourself, what's the point if you just make some bureaucratic decisions and no editor decisions?
Well, I don't like to be forced in anything. That's why I'm working in my own publishing house. And the thing with this prize bothered me a lot. I did a research before we applied for the grant in 2015. I asked my colleague publishers in other countries if the prize winners are the top of, I didn't get answers. I can't say as Andrei, I don't trust very much in those books, but we decided for one book that won a prize. The only book that was written for young adults because we are publisher mainly for children and young adults, and we applied for a young adults program. And it was a Latvian book. It was first Latvian book for children and young adults translated into Slovene language. And we had so many problems with this book to publish it, with false promises from the publisher, with too late text in French. They promised us we could translate from French because there were nobody that would translate it from Latvian. Slovenia is so small that there is no Latvian translator. We couldn't find it, no way. And at last, I went to see the results of sales and readings of this book. They're not so high as are of other books. But I read that book in English when I decided for it. It is a book that goes into our program. I decided for that book on this basis, not on the basis of the price, but because I estimated that the book is good enough to go into our program.
I will say something positive about the prize. I'm very happy that we have this Maltese award winner, Pierre Melak. I chose it because it fitted perfectly in our program, and I'm really happy about it because otherwise, if it's not for the award, I wouldn't be able to know about this author and wouldn't be able to read it because it was translated into English with his help, which was, for me, it was a compromise, but still something that I would be okay with. We translated it from English for the lack of Maltese Bulgarian translator, of course, because there's no one. On the downside, in Bulgaria now, 80 of these 83 authors are sold out. So for the next year, we wouldn't have a chance to...
You already translated all of them.
Bulgarian publishers bought it. Yeah. So it's, I'm not sure if it's 80, but it's okay, 79. If you get through the list, I
You're
was...
really the number one.
And we discussed with Jan yesterday that it was the same in Macedonia, as far as I hear. On the day when last year's awards were announced, they were sold out the next day. You see, we were writing emails, is this book free? And they said, no, 10 Bulgarian publishers are auctioning. Auctioning. Or they go into auction by the agents. So this is really, and it's real. I don't know how it will be next year, but if a new country for the project, this year I saw 2 publishers from, if I'm not mistaken, Albania and Armenia. Their project were 10 award-winning authors, something like this. So the whole project was consisting of 10 authors. So they will win without anything else.
Yes, it is true that in Macedonia this happens as well. The very day the award is announced, everyone is writing emails and giving their offer to the agents. So it leaves no time for the publishing house to review the books and to decide which one it would fit the possible project. So this is one thing that is bothering, and the other thing is that the advances of these books, the sums that we are paying for these books, which by the way is not an eligible cost in the project, is twice the sum of that we normally pay. So it's really an issue for us. But for the national literary scene, for example, for the Macedonian authors that won the award, it's really a positive thing, and we are glad that we see our authors published in bigger countries, because we usually have cooperation with our neighbor states, Serbia, Bulgaria, Croatia, and some of our authors are translated there, either by a friendly, in this regard, or but with the award, many of the winning authors were translated throughout the continent. So it's a positive thing for a smaller country as Macedonia.
Yeah. So it's really great to have another prize like the UPO, but I don't really agree with this plus points in the application, because I think there's some favoritism with this prize. However, it's not always such a good selection, I think. Just for instance, we've chosen Milan Ruskov, the Bulgarian author's UPL winning title. We contacted with the author, and Milan asked us not to publish his award-winning title. He was really surprised that he won with this title, because he thinks that it's not so such a good book, and sorry.
It's untranslatable.
Yeah, and he asked us to translate another book from him, and so yeah, I don't know.
What did you do?
Yeah, we published in September his other book, and it's really nice novel. So I guess if it's necessary to support the UPL prize, then it would be better than if we can choose only from the authors and not just the titles. Oh, I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, and we of course we choose at least maybe 2 titles per year in our selection from these books, but year by year it's becoming more difficult to choose one in what we believe or something.
So it is almost everything is already said about that prize. So you have the plus. The plus is for the authors, because they can be more translated, more visible, and that is good. For the publisher, it is problematic, because sometimes you need time to read it, to review it, to decide does it fit to your program or not. And I think that the biggest problem is with the last, I think, 2 applications. It is way too many points for that. So it needs to be maximum 4 to 5 points, so 4 to 5%. If you have that, it couldn't affect your application. If you have it 15%, so without anyone, you cannot go through. So that is the only fact. So if you, as you said in Goga, have 5 books, and then you need to have 3 books, that means that you need to think only on your prize winner, which is always, as Andres said, national prize. It is only had that brand of European Union. It is national prize, and that is no one from the other countries ever see before it is translated. So that is also a fact. So you have various kind of the books, and that is not a problem of the price, because in every prize you have sometimes juries making mistakes, sometimes they making good things. It is not from various countries. It is, you are not quite sure it is for the emerging authors or it is already established authors. So you have all of those kind of the problems on the national level, and that is, I think, that must not be so affect on application. So 5% it's maximum, I think, that could be given for the EU prize winner. So that means for the book, if you have 10 books, half point, Croatia half point, and so on.
I'm happy that Gabriela is here, since we have pointed out various times, and almost every publisher pointed out that it is a very good thing for the authors themselves. They really get translated, they get visibility on another level, and it can emerge their translational careers, so the author's career abroad, by this book which is awarded, but the author is then afterwards maybe also considered with his other works, as we had the example with the Bulgarian author. So I would like for Gabriela to comment on the prize, what it meant for the book Sušna doba, Dry Season, and how it changed maybe the life of this book, and maybe also what opportunity it gave to you as an author to be more seen, to travel more, to take part in literary festivals, events, and maybe what it means or doesn't mean for your other works.
Thank you, Neta, and hello to everybody. Actually, for me, it was a process, this award. And I agree with most of you that there's a lot of confusion. You know, at first I was told that I'm actually nominated. So till September it was a secret team, so I was guessing what it is actually. And then you hear that there is some kind of committee in a half private room which decides, you know, which book. And meanwhile, the award was promised to somebody else because they didn't read well the instruction. So it's a lottery. So I just went in Brussels and I said, okay, fine, I'm going, you know, for this award. And then it was actually a huge thing, you know, these high walls and these palaces and all this thing. And meanwhile, I also heard that this award, it's like an award with a meaning, you know, because of all these translations. So yes, I mean, you get very thrilled, you get enthusiastic. I mean, the translations, the applications are coming. Some of them you are following, some you cannot. But the interesting thing which happens actually, I mean, by the way, like Serbian translation was very bad. I was completely dissatisfied because they just completely changed the book. But like the most successful translation is English translation, which was not even done through EU award. You know, it was done in a different way by the Letrina Edition House, and it's actually this. I invested myself in translator, and this book is really going far. I mean, the English translation, because it's really good. While in Serbia, I just got this really feeling that they just made it to get, you know, the money, and me, I guess, that I'm publishing Serbian. But what is interesting for me is because the book is going on in Ouagadougou, in Burkina Faso, in West Africa. So even these critics from England, it's like, oh, this author is not fulfilling what we are expecting from somebody who is coming from Eastern European country, you know, because it's about Africa, so it's, you know, it's bizarre. But to me as an author, in a mental sense, is quite important to go beyond this little swimming pool of Slovenia because of this multicultural, international, and it's actually fictionally written in French, so you see. And it has this Slovenian layer, it has English layer, it has French layer, it has a local African language layer. So I am glad, I am grateful that it came to all these levels. And you get other public. I mean, recently I was just in Paris reading at UNESCO. It was the Slavic Forum. And you had this opportunity to explain to the people, we from Eastern European country can have non-imperial view on Africa. We are inventing new kind of whiteness, if I'm a little bit exaggerating. So it does opens new aspects to the novel, more to the novel than to me. But on the other hand, I am grateful for this award, of course I am very grateful. But till now I wrote 5 books, and I think Dry Season is not my best book actually. Yes, in some parts it's good, but in some parts it's not. So I wouldn't be translated. Of course, if it isn't this EU award, at least not in Hungarian, in Croatian, in Albanian, and all these things, perhaps not even Italian. German translation is not yet done. But I would like to see my other novels, which are more wild, which are more poetic, which are more beautiful, I think at the 5th novel, the 4th novel, actually, I'm becoming a writer, because it's also a process, you are learning. So Dry Season, yeah, it's nice, it's very nice, but I would also like to see my other novel to be translated. And it's a tricky thing because you shouldn't complain. You have to be grateful, of course. You have translated in 10 languages. You got your piece of cake, so what are you complaining? But what I would really like to see my latest novel, Intimate, because it's really about racism, about migration in this Eastern European space. So what can I complain? I shouldn't complain anything. But I agree with all of you what you said at the end of the day. And of course, I'm grateful to be translated in all those languages. Even though I'm really scared that this Dry Season will become my destiny.
Thank you, Gabriela. You have at least 4 foreign publishers here that caught the attention of the latest novel, Intimate. In my opinion, there is no use for a publishing house from Skopje, from Sofia, and so on to translate their author into, let's say, English or German or French, to publish the book by their own, to print it in Skopje or Sofia, and to do what then with it? Put it in the drawer? So I would like to know if this is an aspect that would be interesting for you, since most of you don't do it, and if it maybe would be also wise for the program to also encourage partnerships between publishing houses from smaller countries and publishing houses from big countries. Because in Belletrina's case, there was a collaboration with a publishing house based in the UK, and it was a common project. They agreed to do that. Belletrina got the funding, but the UK publishing house actually published it under their brand and made it possible for the book to be distributed in the UK and in the US, for the book to travel and to reach its readers on the market where it's supposed to reach its readers, so on the English market. So maybe to close up slowly, what do you think of this aspect of the program and its potential in your view?
So on one hand, that is a good idea that you have collaboration with other publishers, but on the other hand, when you act like an agent, then you put down your spaces for your author. Then that means that you have that publisher in that big country, and that is the only opportunity to sell the rights for the author. So that is, on the other hand, that is not good. So I'm not sure that any agent or any publishing house, let's say Zurkamp or any from bigger country, would do that. So why we need to always fit in their suit, not think about that. So that is. So I think that needs to also in the Creative Europe program, there need to be different kind of the programs for translation, not only one. They everything try to put under one in one program. You have a program for translation of, we say, novels, graphic novels, poetry, blah blah blah. It could be divided. Why not to be? Why not? There is no program for non-fiction translation. So, and then also to be programmed for lesser used language to be translated and then to be on the market and gave way to the try to sell authors. So that is maybe how things can be developed in the future. But to put all of those kind of different things, because it's called publishing business, and publishing business, it's not only one business, it's a lot of businesses in one name. So that is I think that is the problem of that project at all. So when you think about it on a bigger scale, so that is my opinion.
Yeah, well, we do not have any Hungarian literature authors, but yeah, we are thinking about this kind of thing with our non-fiction authors, but it's really difficult to reach as a publisher to reach other foreign publisher interested in our titles. So.
Well, our experience is that it's very difficult to find publishers abroad, and we have for 3 or 4 years tried really hard to present our authors to the agents, bigger agencies, and some bigger publishers, for example, in Germany. But we didn't have any success. It's really hard. I guess we are all facing the same problem to push some author from the Balkan to the Western European market. So it's honestly, we would like to see it done by an interest from another publishing house from another country, not to force it and to translate it and then to just ask for a distribution or we had similar. I can compare this with we had 2 of our books were translated into Croatian and Serbian with the support of the previous program, European program. And we saw that there is a tendency to just choose a work from Macedonia and to have a diversity in the program and not to really like to promote the book afterwards. In comparison, we had an agency from Bulgaria that really liked one of our novels and pushed and asked for a Bulgarian publisher to publish it. It presented really nice, and the publisher that did publish the book really gave a lot of energy to promotion of the book. It really made an effort, and he didn't even get a grant for even the translation. So it's different thing when it's a grant, and different thing is when the book finds its own path to the publisher and keeps the attraction.
I'm very grateful, Renato, that you raised this question, because this is something that we thinking about, but we have no experience so far. We tried last year at Frankfurt to sell some of our Bulgarian titles, but I think it was not a good approach, because it's different when you go somewhere to sell rights and to buy rights. The people that are selling and buying are different, so you have to think about different kind of meetings, and it was not successful. So I agree with Mr. Serdaric about this, about the translation of the text, and then you go and find a publisher outside the country. For me, I think it's doable. It will work better than finding a cooperation with a partner from Europe. At least for me, it's too hard to think about.
Well, our core business is publishing books for Slovene readers. So we are trying to sell rights for titles that of Slovene authors abroad. We did that this year for 5 titles that are going to be published around the world. That's for a small publishing house a lot. But I would like to stress another thing, not connected with this subject. The basic contradiction that I found in these EU grants. The grants are for literary works with high literary merit, and on the other side, we are forced to do a lot of promotion. I'm coming, I was a marketing professional in the past, and there is no tool that would convince people that read commercial literature to read high literature, or the best literature. In Slovenia, there are, I don't know, 3,000, 4,000 people that read really good literature, and there is really no marketing tool, no ads, nothing that would raise this number. We do a lot of efforts. I'm telling this on the basis of numbers, of sales of those books that were funded by EU grants. We didn't sell any more of them than we usually sell, and we did a lot of promotion for them. So it is a basic contradiction in this.
Say to raised an interesting point in the previous answer and in this last one as well. The aim of this whole initiative is still, after 15 years, still quite unclear, and it will be advisable to clarify things a bit, and also that maybe things should be divided into different strands, sub-programs, I don't know. But to answer on this question, I put myself in a funny position, because I'm a representative of one of the quite successful publishing houses, and I'm complaining all the time. To finish on a brighter note, one thought crossed my mind. It can sound exotic, and it can maybe be interesting for us, because Mladinska knjiga also has a bookstore chain here around Slovenia of about 50 bookstores, 52 or 53 at the moment. So at the moment, Slovenia is flooded with people from foreign countries, tourists, and they're asking for the Slovenian literature in foreign languages. They're asking for, not just for picture books or for, I don't know, self-help books, but for the literature as well. So for us, this could be maybe an idea that we should maybe do what we didn't do so far, meaning translating Slovenian authors which we publish into, I don't know, probably English or German or maybe French. So, but it can be maybe just related to our publishing house because we are a big publishing house. So it's a different case.
Well, this story about publishing in other countries, it's really I don't know how to express it properly, but you know, we have problems even in Slovenia from town to town. When you make promotion of a book, it's really about social network. We cannot have a successful promotion we are from Aumesta, and if we have it in Maribor, we have to have a partner there. You know, you cannot just come there and say, "Hello, everybody, we have a book. Please come." And to think about publishing in other countries, because you don't know the taste of the people, you don't know the market, but I'm pretty sure I can find a publisher that would like to publish a book that doesn't cost him anything. You know, there are lots of publishers out there that will do that thing. So I have a problem even with finding a real partner and who is then also interested really in selling this book, not just making it. So it's, for me, it's like we are a publisher, then we are an agency, and also foreign publishers, and it's just mission impossible.
So before we conclude, maybe just 2 updates related to our discussion. The latest information about the automatic points for the EUPL award is that the agency is reconsidering to lower down the number of automatic points for the next call, which is supposed to be published in the beginning of next year. But the other information, which is not so positive, that the agency is also considering of publishing only the category 2 call next year, so only for the multi-annual projects. This is still not confirmed and not official, but I wanted to share it with you because we would like that all of us that are included in this chain would do our best to persuade our peers on the other side not to do it, because if this happens, I think that the majority of our publishing houses won't be able to apply next year. And I would like to invite you. You have the last chance today, to maybe share with all of us if you have any concrete idea how to, having in mind that the budget will not get bigger, much bigger. Okay, it might get bigger eventually, but not in a short term. So what would be your concrete proposals, to make this scheme more effective and useful for you? Do you have any other comments? You had already many proposals, like separate schemes or and so on. But anybody would like to? For me, it was interesting to hear the results on the promotion strategy, because actually the agency and the commission are explaining that the difference about the current program compared to the former one is that in the former program they were just supporting the production of books, so nobody had a clue what happens afterward when the book is printed. But then in this program, the agency, the commission, they want that the book is actually given to the reader. That's why so much stress is put on the promotion activities. But for me, it's shocking to hear that although you are investing more and more in promotional campaign, we noticed that Mladinska Knjiga had authors in the fair that are supported, their translations are supported through Creative Europe. So I hope that, you know, not all efforts, promotional efforts are in vain. Are they really?
I do not agree with you, unfortunately, because for us as a really boutique publisher, the efforts to go around the country to visit libraries, especially libraries and language schools and community centers, it means we are educating the public, because the books are really focused on a specific theme, the refugees and migrants. So these efforts to educate public, I think it pays back slowly, but it pays back. We expand our audience. It is still very small, but we see people giving feedback to the publishing house via emails or Facebook comments, things like that. And for me, it helps a lot, because otherwise I won't have means to fund my travels around the country. So this for me works really good.
Or you can add suggestions for how to make it better.
So I wouldn't add any suggestions. But I just want to say that the promotion is really important. So it is the publishing business is a long distance run. So and then building audience is also a long distance run. So that is something that we all need to invest into it, because and that is really helpful in this project. That you building the audience. To reading the books, to rediscover reading as an important thing, while what we see that there is too many others things that you distract your not only reading. So you can play games, you can watch movies, TV series. So there is opportunity is huge, and that is, and to promote reading and buying the books, it's really important. And that is when people had live connection with the author. That is something different, that you have only the posters or books in the bookstore. So that is really important, I think.
That's it. Renata, want to?
Maybe I would like to add, perhaps you didn't understand. Well, I don't say that it's not important, but I said that it didn't help us to sell more. We did a lot of efforts also before. We had such...
Maybe you will sell less. Maybe you will sell less if you didn't like this.
Yeah, well, I was comparing those books with grants with books with no grants. Well, we are organizer of Children's Literature Festival that this year had 9,000 attendees with 140 events, and we do that for 7 years now, and we do a lot of things like that. Well, that money from you helped us to cover some of those costs. I don't say promotion is not important, but I say that there are so many readers, as they are, for good literature. For I am talking about young adults literature, and we are educating and building readers. But our experience is that we didn't sell more, so perhaps we would sell less. But it's our experience.
So maybe to wrap it up, we would like to invite everyone to join us for coffee and snacks and to have an informal talk. And we both, Matea and I, wish you much luck with your next applications, because luck is also something you need.
Thank you.